Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Compelling Conversations podcast. Today, I'm joined by Prince Abdul. Prince Abdul, thanks so much for being here.
Thank you for having me, mate. How have you been?
I've been well. Alhamdulillah, I've been well. Yeah. And
Alhamdulillah.
yourself?
Alhamdulillah, can't complain, bro. Can't complain.
Glad to hear that, man. You know, your accent, it reminds me of a character from Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, Hobie, the British Spider-Man. Man, he's probably one of the coolest characters in that film, if not the coolest. But I saw that film about a month ago, and something very interesting to me was the concept of canon events. I don't know if you've seen the film, but that's what the plot is centered around, canon events. And something that I've been reflecting on is, can we predict canon events? I don't think we can. You know, there's so many different events that have made us who we are, and they're important to us in different ways, but we can never predict the ones to come and what trajectory they put us on in the future.
I'll have to disagree, to be fair. Wait, quick question. The multiverse movie, the Spider-Man, that's the one, like the cartoon one, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Have you seen
Okay,
it?
okay. No, I haven't watched I'm not big into movies nowadays, to be fair. Like the only movie I've ever thought about going to watch, and I haven't even watched it because I've been so busy, was Creed. Every other movie, like over the last 5 years, I don't think I've really wanted to watch it. Like I think the qualities of movies have gone down. I could be wrong. That's just my opinion. But as for the canon thing that you were talking about, I think you can predict it a little bit, at least for
Really?
guys, right? Yeah, I think guys live a very, very similar lifestyle, right? I think guys, we all, this is American. Like, if you live in America, I think you're going to live this lifestyle, right? You grow up, right? You have some ambition to be like really, really, really good at something, right? For some people, it's video games, right? Some people, it's sports, right? Some people, it's drawing, right? And then you realize there's levels to it once you get like exposed to like the more bigger world, I guess you could say, right? Once you get to like high school, college, right, uni, right, you get to exposed to these other people, and you're like, wow, okay, maybe I'm not the best, right? Um, I think we all go through a little bit of a heartbreak, I guess you could say, right? We all have that heartbreak where we think we're going to get married to a particular person, and then it doesn't happen, and you kind of like see your friend like it's a canon event. Like I kind of got the gist of the meme after I saw it get posted around a lot, right? I have a friend of mine who he was like, I'm getting married to this girl. Like he was so head over heels for this girl, and I'm like, it's not gonna last. Like we all know like that one friend, right, where they haven't experienced something, and not just for women, but they haven't experienced something or they haven't done something yet. You try to warn them, but they don't listen, and they do it, and you're like, told you, but you live, you learn, right?
Yeah, yeah. That is a very interesting take. But I like this trajectory that you're taking it in. Yeah, I like that, man. Do you have anything more on that?
I mean, like, yeah, I mean, we all have that phase where we want to become like self-disciplined, right? I think that phase kind of hits us like in our early 20s, right? It should start to kick. For some people, it hits earlier, right? So, um, for me, it hit last year, right? Kind of inspired by Andrew Tate a little bit, but I had a friend who it hit him right when we graduated high school, right? He started working and like he had such a crazy schedule because of his discipline, it was able to like I mean, he developed discipline because of his schedule. Let me say it that way, right? So he would work a night shift, right? So he'd start at 10 p.m., finish at 3 a.m., 4 a.m., right? And then go to sleep for 2 hours, go to soccer practice at 8 a.m. in the morning, right? Finish at 10 a.m., go do schoolwork, go home, sleep some more, and then the cycle continues again, right? So I've kind of had that lifestyle as well, where this is obviously when I used to do YouTube as well, right? I don't do it anymore. I don't know if you want to get into that now or later, but um, yeah, so I there was a point in time, right? So I'd go shoot a video, right? There was a point in time where I was able to do like 3 videos within the span of like 6 weeks, right? So every 2 weeks, I'm doing a new video. Okay. So I'd shoot on Thursday, right? Friday, I'd go to sleep early, right? Wake up Friday, go through the clips, which ones I want to keep, which ones I want to delete. Saturday, start seeing what I could do with like the clips I've got, right? Sunday, you start editing, right? And then Monday, or Sunday, go to sleep early, wake up at 4 a.m. on Monday, right? Because no one's awake at 4 a.m., right? You know? I don't know how many people live in your household, or do you live by yourself?
I live with my family. Yeah.
So like when everyone's awake, it's chaotic, right? Mother wants you to do this, father wants you to do that, sister's knocking on the door every 5 minutes. Hey, can you do this for me? Right. So it's like a bunch of things, right? But at 4 a.m., nobody's up, right? And it's the most peaceful you'll ever be, right? So I used to wake up 4 a.m., right? I'd edit the clips at 4 a.m. in the morning until
Vampire
6.
hour. Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
no. I I've become actually a pretty early sleeper, I think, lately. It's been like that for some time now, but I do recall, now that you're mentioning this, yeah, it's like this thing like vampire hour. It's like 4 a.m. and it's like, wow, I'm just in the flow.
And every guy goes to that, right? We're talking about canon events, right? Every guy has this thing where they start going to bed early or taking cold showers, hitting the gym, like something where you have to develop a level of discipline, right?
Yeah.
Did you have something like that? What was your experience like that? I guess yourself becoming more disciplined. What was your experience with that?
I don't know. I think there's so many things out there that are like grabbing at our attention. And anytime someone is, articulate or something, and you listen to them, it just seems like they have it figured out, like, oh, this person must be like totally disciplined in every single way. For me, it's like I think I've noticed over the past years that it's constantly just getting a little bit better, a little bit better, a little bit better. I don't think I'll ever achieve a perfect mastery of it. And I don't think anyone out there that professes it has a perfect mastery of it either. It's just we're in this moment and say like for the past 2 weeks, I've been really good at discipline as part of my life. Amazing. I can showcase that. And now everybody believes I'm great at it. But it's like we all go through these roller coaster feels in life where it's like, yeah, sometimes you're out the top. Other times, you're going down, you're going back up. It's like an oscillating thing. It's never 100% figured out, I don't think, but it's striving to get there. That kind of a idea, that theme.
I think I somewhat know what you're talking about. Are you talking about like when trying to become disciplined, it's never just like a cold turkey snap where you're just disciplined all of a sudden. It's more like trying to, because normally when you try to develop discipline, it's to get better with your life, right? So are you trying to say like, in order to become disciplined, in order to better your life, you've got to be, um, it's not going to be like a straightforward shot. It's like something that takes time, failure, um, winning. Like, do you know what I'm saying? Like the roller coaster that you're talking about. Is that what you're talking about or trying to say?
Perhaps, like, I'll give an example. I usually am an early bird these days, alhamdulillah. But this
Alhamdulillah.
one day, I remember a few weeks ago, I woke up at like 10:30 or something, and I felt it. I was like, oh, I woke up at 10:30. Like, this is awful. But it felt really bad, but I just got up and I just continued my day. And it's like that wasn't a perfect moment. That moment sucked for me. That wasn't a disciplined moment. But that's fine. Like that just happens. That's life. You're a human being. Sometimes you're not always on par. You just have to
Mm.
accept that and just continue to do your best.
So what time do you go to sleep? Because like you texted me like, so normally I'm up at like 5 a.m. because I got to take care of my sister, get ready for school and everything, right? I got to make the lunch, got to make the what do you call it, breakfast and whatnot. What time did you wake up today? Because I saw your message like, and I was like, I'm surprised he's up. I was gonna like message you at like 6:30, right? What time did you wake up?
Yeah, I think I messaged you at like what, 5:30 or something?
Yeah,
Is that
yeah,
it? 5
around
a.m.
that
Yeah.
time.
Yeah. Around then it just I don't know, like there's this thing where we're talking like you mentioned your friend who was like the schedule just made him disciplined or something like that. I really see that correlation because it's like it just kind of puts you into a mode. And so like there's a place for you being tired, but that place is like natural. And I don't know how to explain it, but I guess to put it in a simple way, when you go to bed early, you wake up early. Something like that.
No, no, 100%, mate. I went to bed at like 9 o'clock one day. So normally I try to go to bed between like 10 and 11, right? Because naturally, like that's like I don't get home until like 9:30ish, right? But this particular day I was home, right? Like I didn't go out this day, and I went to bed at 9 o'clock, like on the dot. I woke up at 5 a.m. like not tired at all. Like I couldn't, like like when you wake up at 5 a.m. you're like 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 I don't know if I want to leave the bed yet. Like I could not close my eyes again. Like I was just
You
like
could
ready to go.
not
Like,
close your eyes again. Yes. I love that statement. You could not close your eyes again. That's how you know you're awake. You just can't close your eyes again.
but yeah, is that do you what time do you go to bed? Like you wake up at 5. What time do you go to bed?
Um, it's never like but it's not like anything ridiculously late. Sometimes, like if it's something going on and I end up going to bed late, I go late, but usually it's not like crazy late.
So what do you do when you wake up? So you've woken up at 5. What do you do? Do you work on stuff? Do you do like Islamic things? Are you just reflecting? Like what do you do?
I appreciate you asking, but I don't really have much to say. I mean, it is, let me drink my orange juice or something. I'm not some wizard with some fancy schedule doing some fancy things. It's very simple, it's very normal, you know. But what do you
Mm.
do? I'm curious. You said you make breakfast. That's to me that's impressive.
The bare minimum. It's like the bare minimum, mate. No, so like I don't. It varies, but normally it's just like cereal and milk for my sister in the morning, right? A very easy to go meal, right? Um, and then I take care. So my mom makes chai or like the tea, right? Which, just out of curiosity, right? You're Pakistani, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you drink chai in the morning when you wake up?
I always want to, but sometimes I don't get a chance to. But yes, yes, I
So my
love yeah.
my mom's half Pakistani, so that makes me like 1/4 Pakistani,
Oh
right?
my
Which I'll only
God.
use that. Yeah, I'll only use that if
Wow.
like I'm trying to impress a Desi girl, right? But yeah, she cannot stop drinking chai like that. Like for her, like she does not like she cannot leave the house until she drinks chai. Today she woke up at 6 a.m. She normally is out the house at 6:15. She managed to leave at 6:20 still, right? But she somehow found time to make chai before she left, right? So I was always
Wow.
wondering, is that just a her thing or is that like a Desi thing? Because Desis do love their chai, right? They love their chai and their boba.
Desis do love their chai. The boba, I don't know. I feel like it's a mixed bag, but yes, the Desis definitely love their chai.
So I was asking, like, do you have to start your day with that? Do your parents have to start their day with that, or
I don't think necessarily, but yeah, like it's a nice thing. Chai's a nice thing, and it usually is there. Yeah.
I've never been a fan of chai. To me, like, I've never been a fan of chai. I think it tastes like hot dirt water.
Damn,
Like, I
I'm
want you to imagine,
shocked.
like, I want you to think about this for a minute, right? Imagine a warm glass of water, right? You go outside and you grab some soil, you put it in there, you mix it around. Would that is that not how you think chai would taste?
I don't know who's been giving you chai, but that's not chai.
Bro,
Chai
I'm
is
telling you,
amazing.
bro. I've never been a fan of it.
Oh man, chai's
I've
like
not
that
even been.
thing that like hits. It's like you ate some food, okay, great. You had your biryani, your nahari or whatever. And now I just need some chai, and it just kind of it hits the stomach, and you're like, oh great, now I can go to bed or something like that.
Speaking of
Or now I can
biryani,
start my day. Yeah, go ahead.
I don't get how Pakistan, like the spice that y'all put in biryani is like. I always thought like this, and someone made the comment, so it kind of confirmed my belief was somewhat true. Desi spice makes you feel like you're gonna have a heart attack, whereas like Hispanic spice just gives you like problems down there, you know? Are you a Spice fan?
Man, after hearing these things from you, I feel so bad. I feel like you're not exposed to the Desi cuisine in the right way. I am a fan
I
of
went to
spice, but
August. I went to August in Houston. Does that count?
um, I don't know. I think I'm gonna keep my opinions to myself about that. But, but
That's your hometown, mate.
it is my hometown. Yeah, you're right. You're right. Well, actually, this is actually a good thing to think about or mention. Houston versus Dallas. What do you make of that culture?
See, I don't live in Houston to fully be able to say it, but I'd like to say the Dallas culture is better simply because Dallas is like it's a big city. It's not as big as Houston, but everything's like it's congested, if that makes sense. Like there's so many masjids all over the place. Like, do you get what I'm saying? Like in the month of Ramadan, right? This is like one of the most beautiful things ever. People go masjid hopping, right? I don't know if that's a thing in Houston, right? Because everything is really like nothing's really far in Dallas. Do you get what I'm saying? Like if I was to drive from end to end, right? So the Soho is probably the southest city, right? Red Oak and Midlothian aren't real cities. From DeSoto to Plano, which Plano is not even in Dallas, right? Anyone who says they're from Dallas and they live in Plano, Plano is not Dallas. That's Collin County. But I guess they like the title. So from DeSoto to Plano, that's about an hour. But from there, you've got DeSoto Masjid, Duncanville Masjid, Richardson Masjid, Epic, the other Plano Masjid, Mesquite Masjid, the downtown Masjid. Like within the hour, I could hit five, six, seven masjids, right? I mean, okay, not within an hour, right? Because you got to make the pit stops and everything. But do you get what I'm saying? Like the Muslim community here is like very. Once you enter it, it feels like you've entered. I don't know how to make this make sense. So I live in Duncanville, right? Which is like it's not really a Muslim city, you know. And what do you know about Dallas, real quickly? Do you know like the cities and everything in Dallas, or not really?
Yeah, I've heard of the suburbs here and there. It's kind of like Houston. We've got our little suburbs, and they make Houston.
Or let me answer your question real quickly, and then we can go from there. But I think Dallas. I think Dallas is better. Obviously, I live here. I can't fully compare it to Houston, but my experiences in Houston, everything seems very like sparse, like spread out. Like everything's like it. Everything's like far, far away. Like it's not like Dallas where everything's like kind of there. If that makes sense. Like there's like I know there's like a lot of Muslims in Houston as well, right? You'll have like the highest Hispanic convert population, if I'm not mistaken, right?
I think so.
But how do I make this make sense?
Well, the reason that I brought up the Houston and Dallas thing was because I feel like before I wasn't really a fan of Texas, and when I reflected on why that was the case, it was because I didn't really feel acquainted with my city or any of the cities. But then when I got exposed to my city and then the other cities as well, it's like, wow, I really love Texas. But what I realized was like, although Dallas and Austin and San Antonio and El Paso are really nice, there's something different in the water in Houston. You feel it. You really feel it in the past couple of years. It's like, wow,
You can smell
something
it too.
different out here. Yeah, if you go out to Galveston, you can smell it. But it's different. It feels like there's something in Houston. Something's happening in Houston. So that's the only reason I brought that up. But something I wanted to jump into was like I've noticed how you are on this podcast. You're very open. You sit in your pajamas, you got your like cup of water or whatever it is. You're very like free flowing. Where's this coming from? How are you so chill like this?
All right, pause. It's not my pajamas, but I could see why you'd say that. All right, so this is just a shirt that from my mother's hospital, right? So you can't really see. It's one of my favorite shirts. It's just so simple, right? Acute liver failure, I think it was. Yeah, acute liver failure study, right? So I've always liked it. So I just put this on because I was like, "Ah, should I go over? Should I not?" And that's for my pants, right? I don't know what do they call it in Bengali? Tungi, bungi, something like that, right? I don't know. Maybe you'll know it when you see it, right? Hold up, wait. Do you know what?
Mm,
You know what this is? You know what I'm talking about?
yeah, they look Japanese.
No, no, no. It's not a pants. It's like it's a skirt.
No, I know what it is. I'm just saying the designs look very Japanese.
Oh, yeah. So this
Yeah.
isn't from Bengali though. This is from Kenya, right?
Wow.
So
You
I
look
was
like a
wearing
Kenyan
shorts.
shogun or shogun. Shogun, yeah.
Kenyan Shogun. What is it? I don't even know what that looks like.
Oh no, you know shogun like a Japanese emperor, like the feudal times.
Oh, okay, okay, I got
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
But yeah, to answer the question, I try to actually, I'm trying to like restrict my me being, I guess, chill because it's because of my mouth, right? So I'm not going to have a potty mouth, but at times, like I tend to like just say stuff because of how like relaxed I feel, right? So I try to like, this is like one of the discipline things I was talking about. Is like I want to be authentic still, obviously, right? I still want to be like 100, like I don't want to be fake, but I've been trying to be like more, how do you say it, like cautious with my words, right? But
Is this why
I
you
don't
quit
I don't
YouTube?
it's part of the reason. I don't want to go too deep into it, but it was a one. I mean, the thing was like I was
I
doing
was
more TikTok
at the
at the time.
Chicago airport and I was sitting there waiting for my flight and I was watching a Prince Abdul prank and I couldn't stop laughing while eating my pretzels.
Which one was it?
I think it was the one where you talked to Spider-Man.
Funny enough, I thought I was gonna get asked about which was my favorite video. That was probably my favorite video. I know you didn't ask it, but I'm still gonna go there. But that was probably one of my favorite videos, like out of all of them, like just on everything. I liked the content that came from doing that video at UTA. I liked that day particularly, right? I went to class and then I went to go get Ricky's with my cousins, and then like I went to like every like all of the people that I shot a video with from that video, right? They all still follow me on Instagram. We still talk to this day. I shot videos at SMU, UTD, DBU. Most of the people at that point, like they've unfollowed me. They don't really, like. I'm pretty sure they didn't really care about the YouTube thing. They're like, oh, cute, whatever, right? But the UTA people, mind you, they're not most like this isn't like people that I'm forced. These are like people I don't really bump into, right? But they still like hit me up. Hey, when's the next video coming out? And like, this is why I go to UTA now, right? Um, but going back to it, yeah, editing the video, I really enjoyed it. Like, I really like it. Didn't that particular video did not feel like a hassle. Sometimes it feels like a hassle when you've got a lot of content, but like I enjoyed editing that video. But yeah, the Spider-Man, like that was perfect. It was the perfect thumbnail as well, you know? Like when I saw Spider-Man, I was like, this is gonna be a banger video.
Yeah, no, that was a funny one. And actually, now that we've mentioned Spider-Man again, going back to canon events, do you see starting YouTube and quitting it as a canon event for you? Which one holds more weight, do you think?
Starting.
Actually, that's a good thing to think about. What holds
I'm
more
thinking
weight,
about it.
beginning or quitting?
It
Something,
depends what
yeah,
you beginning and quitting. It
exactly.
depends what it is. But for
That
this
is so
one,
true.
I would say, oof, I want to say they're equal, right? But I guess you'd have to say the ending because I wanted to become like I needed to become a better Muslim, and I felt like I was kind of driving away from it, right? Because me starting it, right? Because when I started it, I was not in the Muslim community yet, right? Like I didn't know all these people. That happened like a few months afterwards, right? And it was kind of cool because anytime I needed to shoot a video, I really never ran out of ideas. It was just time and someone to shoot with, right? Because I started working as well. So that was probably the only issue. And it had good intentions. And I felt like I tried things, I did things that I probably wouldn't have done if I never started a YouTube channel because like my Instagram page for a while, I started treating it like a public page, right? Like I would start doing like little surveys on my Instagram page. Like I used to do it before, but like I don't know. Like I used to treat my Instagram page as if it was like a celebrity account. I don't know how to make that make sense. But yeah, but slowly like I didn't like the direction I was heading as a person, you know, especially with TikTok as well. I started doing relatively well on TikTok as well, and it just became a distraction. I'm not going to say like I left my Dean, but Dean started to get pushed back a little bit to sort of like I don't say prioritize, but like it was like I got to like it became so important to me that like for example, I didn't drop a TikTok today. I've got to drop TikTok. I haven't made a video in 2 months, which I mean, obviously 2 months is a long time, but I just didn't have that same effort towards my Dean, and so I was like, I think it'd be better if and a couple other reasons as well, but I was like, I think I need to, tone it back a little bit. But I would say, going back to the question, I know I go in circles a little bit. I'd say the ending one for me held more weight, but I wouldn't be where I'm at. I wouldn't know the people I know if I had never started it, you know? I met Jaff Jaff because of that, you know? You
Wild.
know that that podcast, I'm sorry, but you know that podcast where he's like walking you through like his whole like TikTok career? I'm literally like listening to it, and it's like I've lived through it with him. Like before, he didn't have that many videos, right? Because this all started because I wanted to kind of go with the simp TikTok character, right? Because like I noticed that, and I kind of oversaturated it. I'm not gonna lie, but I noticed like, okay, this actually does good numbers, right? Let me create like a situation because theirs was Fatima, right? I was like, let me steal one. I'll do a girl named Aisha, right? And I hit him up first. I was like, hey, look, because Abdul, you know who that is, right?
Yes, he's also been on.
Okay, he has.
Yeah, like back in about a year ago, actually. Yeah,
Okay,
been a minute.
I need to go watch that one. So I was like, he's probably not gonna respond to my DM. He's got like 100 like you seen his follow account. I was like, I'm probably not gonna get a response from him. Let me hit up his friend, right? That I see in all his skits. And so I was like, hey, look, funny videos, yada yada yada. Like he goes and talks to Abdul, and they're like, yeah, go ahead, gives me the green light to, go down this like simp route. And Jafar, I don't know. I get mixed up with Jaff and Jafar. But basically, Jaff and Abdul, they kind of like took me under their wing, right? Like they would message me, they'd be like, hey, look, this TikTok, because if you look at my TikTok, right, my account, it was very like sporadic, right? You'd get a soccer video here, a day in the life video here, Muslim video here. Like it was very sporadic, right? And like Abdul messaged me one day, he was like, hey, look, this is a very good TikTok, but you know, it's like you're messing up your algorithm doing this type of video. Why don't you make another account and do like just soccer videos and then another account just for this, right? And then Jaff as well, right? He was like he talked about Jaff knows this stuff like on like a nerdy level, right? Like the set like I think like this, but he whenever he broke it down, I was like, all right, I'm not crazy. Where he talks about the difference between like audio clip videos versus like skits, right? So yeah, the audio clip videos is like the ones like what's a famous TikTok sound? You know the sound that goes "What I do." That one.
Don't.
All right, all right. Just basically, but you know what I'm talking about though, right? Like it'll be an audio, and then you just kind of like mouth the audio, and you'll be like
Yeah,
POV, right? um those videos like he explained it to me like they're kind of hit and miss, like you're really testing your luck, you're not really going to get growth out of that one compared to if you do skits, right? If you do a skit, you have like a retained audience because the people like this type of like it's like a movie or like it's like a series that they're like, okay, he did this, let's see what the next one's going to be like. And he's right. So I'm pretty sure you've seen some of the things I did, but there was like a skit I did with Taisir, right? Shout out Taisir, where it was like point of view, like the dude who makes wudu and like keeps it forever, right? Did
is
you see
that
that
is
one?
that the, is that the one where you're in the pool?
No. It was with Taisir, and um, I'm like, hey, Taisir, it's Asr, let's go pray. And he's like, oh, I got wudu. I'm like, oh, okay. And it's like Maghrib time. I'm like, hey, Taisir, Maghrib's
Mm,
in. You ready to go pray? He's like, yeah, let's go. I'm like, wait, we gotta make wudu. He's like, oh, I already have wudu. And like, it's like in the
I
back, it's like a
remember it.
boom, boom. Yeah,
I
yeah, yeah.
remember it.
And that one did good numbers. and because also people have little arguments inside the comment section, so that does well as well. But yeah, I don't even know where we were going with this. My apologies. But yeah, shout out Jeff and Abdul.
Yeah. You know, it's interesting to see what's going on with the culture. Like the way we're just speaking right now, like the way people are doing things right now, it's like it's a different culture now, you know, TikTok and making TikToks and this and that. It's like it's interesting. It's another culture, but it's cool in its own ways.
Have you? What are your thoughts on TikTok?
I've used it a little bit. I've posted like a few things. Um, the thing about I'm I don't know. It's like quick eye candy to me, and it's just not as appealing. But every now and then, if I see a clip or something, and I think it's cool. It's like, oh, nice, you know. Like I can see that it's got its own value, so that's a nice thing. But
Yeah,
other
that's
than
fair.
that, I don't have too many thoughts. You know, it's a tool.
I,
That's certainly one thing.
if you know how to use it, yeah.
Yeah. Actually, this is something interesting to talk about as well. Um, I've always seen these things as tools. I've tried to. But there's this guy out in Australia, Vin, and he makes these amazing videos about communication. And he was sharing how we don't use our voice, right? If you use your voice, it's just very plain. And me and you talked about this a little bit too. He's like, you got to play your voice. It's like an instrument, you know? If you just use a piano, it's boring. If you play a piano, there's a symphony there. And so he's talking about the voice like that as well. And so I've been really fascinated by that and that relationship with these tools. You know, it's like, yeah, it's a tool and you could use it, or it's a tool and you could really play it, you know, make it something really beautiful.
It's an interesting take. I'm trying to see where you're going with this. I feel like I know where you're going with this, but where you, where are you going with this? Or are you just sharing something that you found
That was about
interesting
it,
off of a
really.
guy?
Yeah,
Oh, okay,
that
okay. I
was
thought you
really
were
it.
going
But
somewhere with it.
we're also like running low on time. And it's usually around this moment where I ask guests, do you have any closing thoughts? Anything you felt like you wanted to say but you didn't get a chance to, or something on your mind that you wanted to express?
That was 30 minutes.
Yeah, it was probably a little bit more than 30. Yeah.
Um, I don't. I mean, there's a lot. Like, obviously, I would have wanted to talk about, but I guess we've got to save it for another episode then, huh?
We got to save it for a day where, inshallah, there's an actual studio and it's in person. It's like,
Inshallah.
oh, damn. It's an actual experience like that. You're like, what, episode 91? Oh my God.
When are
It's
you gonna
racked
get?
up.
Is that something like in the works at the moment, or is that something like inshallah one day?
No comment, but also I'll give a little comment. It's kind of been like that for a long time, where it's like, oh yeah, one day. But it's like now that I'm thinking about it, it's like it's not it this is a pretty serious thing. I mean, 91. That's a pretty big number, you know, it's like a lot of people. So maybe it's time to actually put a little bit more effort into making it something more professional or engaging. I don't know. We'll see, man. No comment at the moment. We'll see.
No, I'd like to be in the studio, bro. You ever see like the podcasters the way they grab their mic, right? They'll be like, "So, listen, I've got a question for you, mate. Where was the first time you got caught cheating, right? Or some whatever, right? Like I've always been fascinated with the idea of like holding a mic. That was something I wanted to do, and maybe inshallah it's something for the future. Like I want to start a podcast as well, preferably. I mean, I'd like guests on it, but not as much. It would be more so just maybe telling stories or like giving life experiences, so you don't make that mistake that I've made. That would kind of be the concept of my podcasting. I was really adamant about doing it during the summertime, but yeah, just no. But inshallah, maybe one day. But yeah, the idea of like just holding on to a mic, I have no idea what my obsession is with like holding those mics. You know what I'm talking about? Like the black ones with the little big fuzzy thing on it, right? You know what I'm talking about?
I do.
I don't know what my obsession is with that, but Yeah,
Well, hey, it's never too late to start. And I'm sure that if it's meant to be, you'll definitely get onto that. That'd be a cool thing to see.
inshallah. If Allah wills.
Yeah, inshallah is what it always ends up being, right? And there's truth to that. Actually, this might be a funny story to close off with. There's a book called The Pleasantries of the Incredible Mullah Nasruddin. And I don't know if you're familiar with who he is, but he's just basically like a funny sheikh that existed like centuries ago. And there's this one story attributed to him where he's like really excited about getting like this shirt. And so he goes to the tailor, and the tailor's like, "Yeah, come back tomorrow. It'll be ready, inshallah." He says, "Okay." So he comes back the next day, and he's like, the tailor's like, "Yeah, just come back next week. It'll be ready, inshallah." So he shows up the next week, and then he's like, "Yeah, give me like another week. It'll be ready, inshallah." He's like, "Okay, can you please tell me when it'll be ready if you keep Allah out of it, you know?" And the joke behind it is people just use inshallah as a way to just dust things under the rug, like, yeah, I'll get to it maybe. But it's like it's a placeholder. It's not a real commitment. Where inshallah should really be like a commitment. Like, yeah, like if God wills it, then I seriously do intend to. So that's my
No,
closing thought.
I've never. I guess yeah. I guess this would be a closing thought. I've never been fond of like the way people use inshallah, right? Where people is like, you'll be like, "Hey, you coming tonight?" Inshallah, but like, it's not like a. It's you know what it is. It's not really like there's no substance to it. It's just like a sure, right? Like
Yeah,
it's not. But I've never been fond of it. And I think Joe Biden at one point he said like inshallah, but like in a very like sarcastic manner. Like he was asked a question and he was like inshallah, and he kind of used it like in a skeptical way, like in a sense of like sure, never really gonna happen. And like all the liberal Democrats was like, oh my God, he said inshallah. But you missed the point, bro. Like I want to say that's almost like borderline mocking the religion, you know? But I know I don't want to get too deep. That's a whole nother topic for right now, and we're on a bit of a time schedule apparently. But yeah, I've never been fond of that.
well, I really appreciate you being here, Prince Abdul. This was fun talking to you. Suppose
Yeah,
until
no
next
worries,
time,
man.
eh?
Appreciate it as well.
Inshallah.
Inshallah.